You're watching and listening to the Electronic Intifada live stream. I'm Ali Abunimah here with my colleague Nora Barrows-Friedman. It has now been 1,000 days since October 7th, 2023, 1,000 days of Israel's genocide in Gaza. And we should be clear, this was a genocide from the start. Immediately, Israeli leaders were declaring their intentions openly. On October 9th, 2023, then Defense Minister and now indicted war criminal Yoav Gallant announced what he called a complete siege on Gaza. There will be no electricity, no food, no fuel. Everything is closed. We are fighting human animals and we act accordingly, he said. The International Court of Justice later cited that and other statements as evidence of a plausible genocide and ordered Israel to halt all genocidal acts, a ruling it has ignored with impunity. Benjamin Netanyahu also told Israeli soldiers, "You must remember what Amalek has done to you," says our Holy Bible, and we do remember. The Israeli Prime Minister was, of course, invoking a biblical injunction to entirely destroy the population, including mothers and babies. Now, 1,000 days later, the confirmed death toll has passed 73,000 Palestinians killed, with more than 173,000 wounded. Gaza's health ministry figures are viewed as reliable by UN agencies and independent experts, but even those figures exclude many people still missing under the rubble. And credible estimates indicate that the real death toll is much higher. A Lancet Global Health study estimated that more than 75,000 Palestinians were violently killed in just the first 15 months of the genocide, already far above the official count at the time, with possibly hundreds of thousands more non-violent deaths caused by disease, injury, and the collapse of life-sustaining systems. To reflect on these 1,000 days, we're joined once again by our friend Asem Alnabih in Gaza. Asem is an engineer, a PhD researcher, and he was the spokesperson for the Gaza Municipality. He's now a correspondent for Araby TV. He's been in Gaza since the start of the genocide, and Electronic Intifada viewers know him well from previous live stream conversations. Asem has also written powerfully for the Electronic Intifada about survival, loss, family, starvation, memory, and the dreams, hopes, and futures Israel has tried to steal from the people of Gaza. Asem, welcome back to the Electronic Intifada live stream.
Hey all, it's lovely to be again with you and to be live on EI live stream. We are all here in Gaza, like EI. We support them. We appreciate their effort, the team and everyone who's doing something to support Gaza, to support the Palestinian who are really suffering from the Israeli genocidal war in Gaza, in the West Bank, and every land that the Palestinian are exist.
So good to see you again, Asem.
Thank you, Noah.
Thank you,
Ali.
Asem. Before we talk about the past 1,000 days as a whole, just give us a snapshot of what life in Gaza looks like right now. What does survival mean today in practical terms? What's the situation with food, water, fuel, shelter, displacement, services, and simply how are people getting through their day?
Actually, Ali, I think we must be clear about the situation in Gaza right now, because based on the Israeli media, there is a ceasefire right now in Gaza. But when you walk on the streets, when you really watch the reality on the ground, you can notice clearly that the genocidal war is still ongoing in Gaza Strip. There is more than 1,045 martyrs in Gaza after the announcement of ceasefire after October 10th, 2025. There is more than 3,200 people injured. This is in the time of so-called ceasefire, based on the Israeli media. Also, in the humanitarian situation is still very bad. Israel only allowed a limited amount of fuel, limited amount of humanitarian aid, limited amount of medical supplies, and that's why the suffering of people is still continuing in the city, among the people, among the majority of people, actually, based on the updated reports, the recent reports. There is more than 1.9 million people are internally displaced in Gaza Strip. While can you imagine that those people staying in less than 30% of the total area of Gaza Strip, because the actual area that people now are staying in is less than 30%, while the Israeli army is actually staying and taking control of more than 70% of the total land and the total area. And if you take the note that more than 90% of the housing units in Gaza Strip are being damaged, so we are talking about less than 5% or less than 10% of the actual area that people are staying in. They are staying in streets and the seaport, on the beach. They are staying in any single small land just to protect their kids while they are staying in tents. Tents could be suitable for, for camping for 3 days on beach, but it's not really suitable for living in for more than 3 years now. So it is very hot. We are talking about nylon and plastic and very bad quality of tents. The situation in Gaza and the weather now is very hot. People are getting a limited amount of water. Based on the recent reports, they are getting that every single person gets less than 10 liters. This 10 liters for drinking, for showering, for cleaning, for every single need, while the international standards talking about 120 liters per day per person. So can you imagine the difficulties that people are staying? And the 120 liters for someone stay in a house, in a clean house, not in a tent with very dirty, atmosphere and the sewage around you, without any facilities, there is no sewage infrastructure. So we can confirm from what we watch, and I work because of the nature of my work. I see people and new people every day, so I can feel that the war is not over yet. Maybe the Israeli platforms and the Israeli leaders convinced the world that the war is over, but unfortunately, from what we see in the ground, the war is still ongoing.
And it's 1,000 days now. And, like you said, Israel is still pushing westwards. Their so-called yellow line is being moved all the time. And buildings and infrastructure east of the so-called yellow line is being demolished and exploded day after day after day. And as you said, the world has basically, washed its hands of anything that could bring an end to this genocide. Israel Hayom, a newspaper that's closely aligned with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, is reporting that, for example, Trump's Board of Peace plans to begin opening what it calls Hamas-free humanitarian zones in Gaza within weeks. And we've been reporting on this, you've been reporting on this for many months. This has been a long-standing plan. essentially to create these concentration camps within a concentration camp of Gaza to warehouse Palestinians. And the first zone of this just diabolical plan would reportedly be in Tel El Sultan near Rafah, with civilians directed into fenced shelters where food and medical aid would be distributed, while an international force is deployed and Israel continues operating beyond the so-called yellow line. Full surveillance. They're talking about biometric scanning of people. And this article describes this as a way to separate Hamas from the civilian population, quote, piece by piece. And the Board of Peace also published these photos showing military vehicles for a so-called international stabilization force being brought into Gaza. And this has also been a long-standing plan of theirs. From Gaza, Asem, how do Palestinians understand this kind of plan? And will Israel and its accomplices be able to succeed here?
Like, this is like funny photos, publishing these tactical vehicles as an achievement. It's like, what does that mean? I mean, for us, for the majority of people in Gaza, it doesn't matter. We can't understand what does that mean. I mean, the new cars to the strip mean nothing, because if you have the ability to bring things to Gaza, I have a list. We have a very long list. So if you have the ability and you have the money to bring things to Gaza Strip, please, we are screaming, we are crying for 1,000 days, asking you for water, for medical supplies, for fuel to run and to operate our water wells and our sewage pumps. So if those leaders really understand the situation in Gaza Strip, they might be interested in bringing many other things. And if they really care about the people in Gaza, and because I saw some statements that Gazans deserve better. Yes, of course, we deserve better. But better than these statements, better than these news, better than these actions. And if we want about what we deserve our rights, just our human rights. We have been suffering for almost 8 decades. It's not only about 1,000 days. The Palestinians in Gaza, in West Bank, and everywhere, even outside Palestine, the historical land, the historical Palestine, we have been suffering for years, for decades now. So I think they understand that it will be no solution until they give us our right. They can bring these cars, they can bring the international crews, they can take over 70% of our land, they can do the new Gaza and the old Gaza, the new Gaza for people, for non-Hamas Gazan people, and the old Hamas for the old Gaza for the Hamas soldiers only. They can do all of these plans, but there is only one solution, and I think the leaders of this world know that. They know that Israel is making its crimes in Gaza Strip and West Bank, and there is no reason for those crimes. They must follow the international law as they say it, and if they really want to follow the international law, they must open the Rafah border, to let more than 20,000 people, illness people, injured people, who got injured by Israel, by the way. So Israel is not allowing medical supplies and medical devices to enter Gaza, and they also denying those people to leave Gaza to receive the treatment that they deserve. So, like, as someone who is staying in Gaza for almost 1,000 days of genocide, and I really understand the situation in Gaza Strip. I think people does not read this news. They don't care about this news. Every single morning, they think about what to eat, where to stay, how to get drinking water, where to send their kids to attend school, educational school, or something, how to earn some money to bring the medicine for his mother or his wife. So if they really care about us, they know what we need, they know what we deserve. Otherwise, I think they are just playing with us. They are just trying to increase our suffering. They don't care about the people. They don't really care about the people in Gaza. They don't care about the humanitarian situation in Gaza Strip. They are just playing political games that we don't really understand, because for 1,000 days, we call that we want our rights, our human rights, as the international law said and stated. But from the other hand, what we can see in the ground, that Israel is continuing her crimes against the civilian people, against the children. And there is many reports, by the way, mention that the killing rate among the children in this war, in this genocidal war, is 40% among the total victims, 40%, while the killing rate among the children in the other wars, like 2008, 2012, was 24%. So it increased from 24 to 40%. So I just want to stop here because I feel upset about this news, as someone is following this news because of my current work right now. But the majority of people here are really suffering because of Israel, and if the world really wants to help them, he really knows what can he do.
Yeah, it's also striking to see those images of them bragging about bringing military vehicles into Gaza. It means they have the ability to bring in everything that's needed: food, water, medicine, shelter materials, even temporary shelters, but also material for reconstruction. And it's a choice of the so-called Board of Peace and the United States and Israel and their accomplices not to do that, to keep the pressure on the population. So they could be boasting about bringing in things that will help people, but they prefer to focus on bringing in more equipment to control and police and occupy the population. Awesome. You've been in Gaza throughout this genocide from the very first day, and you've been separated from your family, from your wife and your children who were out of the country when the genocide started, and you've been away from them since then. You haven't held your children, they haven't hugged their father for 1,000 days, more than 1,000 days, in fact. When you think about this long period of time, what are the moments that stay with you the most? What are you reflecting on right now?
Actually, the most we have faced many difficult moments. Actually, every single moment was a difficult moment. because as a humans, we shouldn't live in this situation while bombardments around you. You can't find food, you can't find water, you can't find even a grave for your loved ones. So in September 2024, I lost my nephew Ahmad, 12 years old, and my niece Russia, 11 years old. An Israeli soldier decided to kill them. Till now, I can't really imagine the reason why two innocent kids, they were studying in a very difficult situation, without electricity, with very bad slow internet connection, with miserable situation. But he decided just to kill them. Two lovely kids. So, but that wasn't the most difficult thing, because when we took them to the cemetery, we couldn't find two graves for them. So we put them together, we laid them together in one single small grave. And I remember the face of their father, a very beautiful, a very lovely father who was very sad, but he couldn't cry because he wanted to hold on and to keep his strength. And can you imagine that, putting your kids, all of them, they had only those kids, and as a father, you put the whole of your kids in one single grave, putting them, and you don't understand why they got that the two Israeli rockets. So when I and that's moved me to my family, talking about my lovely wife Islam and my two lovely kids, Iyad, 11 years old, and Furat, 5 years old, more than 5.5. So I'm not sure why I must be away from my family, why I can't just hug them and see them right now. Iyad is moving to, he finished his primary school and moved to the mid school just a few days ago. Furat finished her early years school, the kindergarten, and she will move to the primary school in a few months. And she used to call me, actually, in the beginning of this war. She used to call me, and she was 2.5 years old only, and she used to tell me, Baba, come, Baba, come, Baba ta'al, in Arabic, just come. And I was just, couldn't answer her because I have no answer. But now, after 3 years of genocide, she is asking the same question, but in different ways. Like, will you come to attend my graduation? Will you bring me this new dress, pink dress? So it is very difficult, every single one of us, facing the Israeli ugly face from his side. So I lost my nephew and my niece, my brother-in-law, my friends, a lot of my family members, our houses, our like we lost everything. We lost our city, the lovely Gaza that everyone, and you already visited Gaza, and you already felt the soul of Gaza, a lovely warm soul that you couldn't feel anywhere else. So they destroyed our lovely city, our streets, our memories. They tried to kill our identity, our language, our heritage. our historic. But we are still here. We are still alive. I'm still trying to hug my daughter, even remotely. Like she is like, "Baba, I miss you." Hug, and she just trying to hug the other screen, and I do the same. And her birthday, I sent her like a live singing, and they bought it for her like in her celebration. But from the other hand, there is a lot of kids here in Gaza. They couldn't celebrate their birthdays. They couldn't attend a school. They couldn't get the treatment they deserve. And this is all because of Israel. We must be clear that Israel is the reason for our suffering. Israel is the reason for this miserable situation that we are living in. And yes, I am afraid to say that, because Israel does not need a reason to kill anybody in Gaza. But yes, being in Gaza is really scary right now, because even during the ceasefire, Israel is killing people. And they are killing journalists, they are killing children, they are killing doctors, they are killing mothers, wives. They are killing Palestinians in Gaza. And yes, 1,000 days. I can count you 1,000 difficult moment. But this is not the worst thing, because I know tomorrow I will face another difficult moment. And after tomorrow, I will face another difficult moment because of Israel. So there is no limit for those difficult moments, because we are still having Israel here, in the sky, in the land, in the yellow line. They are monitoring our calls. They are monitoring our connections. They are controlling everything. So yes, unfortunately, my and our difficult moments will be tomorrow, after tomorrow, and until Israel is gone.
Yeah. And every day we're closer to that, hopefully. You mentioned your daughter graduating, and you actually sent us a little video clip that your wife sent you just a few days ago of her walking the stage. So I think we can show that. It's so beautiful and moving. Walking with such dignity and confidence, and she gets that from her parents. And even though you're far away, just
her name is Furat, Arabic for
Euphrates.
Euphrates River, and it means pure and sweet water. So if you ask her what's your name, sometimes she's pure and sweet water. So like she's really lovely, alhamdulillah.
Just unbelievable. She's perfect.
It's wonderful to see her, and we hope you'll be reunited with her soon. Asem, you mentioned, of course, that you've lost many friends over these past 2.5 years, and I wonder if it's even possible for a human being to absorb that amount of loss or to grieve over so many people. I still think every day about our dear friend Dr. Rifat Al-Arair, and over these last 1,000 days, he was killed very early in the genocide after less than 2 months living through the genocide. And during these past few years, you had the very difficult task of finding him and bringing him home, bringing his body home to rest in Shuja'iyya. And that's something that must have brought great peace to his family, to his parents, and to his many friends around the world. And I just wanted to acknowledge that on these 1,000 days. I don't really have a question, but it's something I've thought about a lot. And we're all very grateful to you for undertaking such a difficult and painful task, mindful that so many people in Gaza have not had the dignity of a burial.
By the way, we moved Rifat to this cemetery near Shuja'iyya. And yes, till now, his father and his mother didn't visit him because this place was very near to the yellow line. So I visited his father and his mother, and I offered them to go with me, but I couldn't take that risk because, you know, being near the yellow line would be risky. So I suggested them just to make it later. Like, I thought that it might be need another 2 weeks, but now we are talking about 6 months now. So till now, his mother couldn't see his grave. So she lost him in December 6th in 2023. And so far, she couldn't visit him. She couldn't see her son's grave. And that's again because of Israel. Rifat tried his best, tried to convey the message of his people, and he paid the cost of being a legitimate messenger, and he told the world the truth. And there is one side didn't like the truth. They are fighting the truth. They are attacking the truth. They hate the truth. And we lost Rifat and a lot of people like Rifat. We lost a lot of our great, clever, smart, perfect people in Gaza. A lot of doctors, engineers, workers, a lot of our kids, a lot of our mothers, a lot of our people. You know, every single one of us is a perfect one, is a lovely character. They had stories, they had memories, they had dreams. But Israel killed them and killed Rifat. And they didn't stop yet. They just kill people every day. Even today, they killed 3 so far. So losing Rifat is difficult for us, for the Palestinians around the world, and for me as his friend and for his family. And I think I told you earlier that my niece and my nephew from Al Ararir family. So because the husband of my sister from Al Ararir family, Rifat, and my brother-in-law are from the same family. So even his family, even his big family, understand the meaning of losing Rifat, because for them he was perfect, and every single person to his family is perfect. So, but because we knew Rifat, we remember Rifat, we respect Rifat, but we need also to remember another 73,355 people. And there is another 10,000 people missed. You know, we couldn't know where are they, even if they are beneath the rubble or in the Israeli jails. And there is no information about those people. I was visiting a site nearby, just maybe 3 kilometers from here, in Jamal Abdel Nasser Street. Those people were killed in October 9th, 2025, only few hours before the announcement of ceasefire. Israel killed 42 people in this strike, in one strike, only few hours before the announcement of ceasefire. And the civil forces could take out 35 people only. So 3 days ago, the medical crews tried to come back to take the other 7. But guess what? They could take beneath the rubble only a mother and her baby. And after 3 days of working, of hard working, they found only 2 out of 7. So those 5 now, you couldn't even find them beneath the rubble, under this rubble. So where are they? You know, what kind of weapons that Israel using to increase the number of victims and to let them under layers of rubbles. So even the operations of recovery will be very difficult or even impossible. So this is only a few days ago happened, and I watched and I followed this story for 3 days. I visited this site for 3 days just to make sure and to take the information directly from the people there, directly from the site. And they told me after 3 days of hard working, they got only a mother, and the mother, they knew the mother from her hair. There was nobody, you know, only a few bones and hair. So they found that, okay, this is the mother, and they found a few bones near her. So they thought, okay, this is the baby. But there is no DNA devices to check and to know the IDs of those people, because Israel, after 1,000 of genocide, even a DNA devices couldn't enter Gaza to know the identity, the ID of those people, the names of those people. Can you imagine that, to call you to come to watch the clothes of those people after 1,000 days of genocidal war, to guess if this is your daughter or not, to guess if this is your son or not, from his clothes, because there is no, it's like, it is very difficult. And these stories are not really published because we don't know how to tell the people the truth. We tried our best. The Palestinian, every single one in Gaza tried his best to convey the message, to tell the world the truth, but it's so we miss many people, very beautiful people, with their dreams, with their passion to life. But again, we didn't lost our passion. We want to live in peace. We want to live in our land. We want to rebuild Gaza again. We want to rebuild our infrastructure. We want to revive the city again. So if the international committee could bring vehicles to Gaza Strip, so please bring us the other needs, so we can rebuild our city. We maintain our infrastructure again. Otherwise, we don't care. Otherwise, so you can just play your games, play your political, games, but we don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like. It's this it's a game that's being played with people's lives. Israel finds the most sadistic ways to keep killing people, not just with guns and bombs and drones and helicopter gunships, but with the prevention of the entry of medical devices, of Band-Aids, of sterile gauze, of bicarbonate that is needed to run dialysis machines. These food and water and
$1 dollar.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
This
Yeah.
medical supply costs
Yeah.
$1 dollar.
That's it.
So
And they won't let it in.
you are killing people for $1 dollar.
Yeah.
For them, that's a good deal.
That's
It's
right.
cheap, it's cheaper than
cheap.
doing it with bombs that cost $50,000 or $100,000 each.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry to say it.
No, that's it. It's a calculation. It's people in boardrooms, literally coming up with plans on how to cheaply kill the most amount of people, mostly children. But Asem, one thing that comes through in your writing and in our conversations over the last 1,000 days is that Gaza is not only a place of death and destruction and the worst impulses of humanity, in terms of what Israel can come up with, can produce around death and destruction in Gaza. Gaza is also a place of relationships, of humor, of stubbornness and tenderness and survival and hope. How are people still enduring? What keeps people going after 1,000 days of genocide? And what do you want people outside of Gaza to understand that they still maybe don't understand about Gaza? We ask you this every time, and we have to keep asking it. What should we be doing practically and politically to help end this genocide?
Okay. I have a very simple answer for this, and I think I answered it several times before that. We already told you what is happening here. You already know the reality on the ground. You already know what is really happening on time, because our journalists, our people tried their best. They used their broken screen phones. They published everything. This is first. Second, we couldn't just hold the genocide for a while, stop it for a while, then take a break to think for the people outside Gaza what they can do. I think you have this privilege to think. And I mean everyone, because, and I know I receive messages from my friends around the world. They are trying their best, and we really appreciate their efforts. The march around the world, the writings, the live streams, the activities in the universities, in the squares. That's huge. We really appreciate it. And if I have advice, that don't feel shame, don't feel guilt. We don't need your guilt. Convert it to bold actions. Convert your bad feelings and your guilt and your shame to real actions on the ground, because that's what we need. You can stay home, feel upset as you want, but the children of Gaza will not feel happy for your sadness or your guilt. So convert these powerful feelings, powerful emotions, to an actions on the streets, on your university, with your neighbors. Because if you watch what happened in the past 1,000 days, you will understand there is something happened in the mindset of people. Israel couldn't fight the truth anymore, because the world, even the political leaders, by the way, they saw the truth. And now they know who is in the right and who is not. But we need to show them more until they change their political decisions and their political views. And that needs more actions and more movements around the world. Sometimes I read some news in the Israeli platforms talking about boycott is nothing. But because they said it's nothing, that should give us more strength to keep going, because that means it does matter, you know? So, but again, it's all yours. You have the connections, you have the internet, you have the electricity, you have the powerful, you have the resources. You know, I know they are fighting the free people around the world for talking about Palestine. And just yesterday, there is a teacher. She got fired because she's posting about Palestine. But the action of people was great, because they demonstrated in front of the school. They hold many things to support her and to support Palestine. So it will not be easy for the decision maker later to fire another teacher. So we must be always in action, because this is the important thing. And another thing, that people in Gaza, yes, they are really suffering. It is unbelievable situation, you know. Even words can't really explain the reality that we are facing every single moment in Gaza Strip. But again, we must keep going, because we have no choice. We have kids, we have families, we have girls, we have dreams, and we have a city, and we have a nation. We have a country that we need to work together for it. Sometimes and this is reasonable, we must attack people from Gaza if they write about their, bad feelings, about feeling bad about the situation, because this we are humans, you know. We feel sad, we feel upset, we feel disappointed. We are humans, and we are not like a miracle people. We are trying our best to live, to hold on, to protect our kids, to provide them with the basic needs, even with this, with the bad situation that we are living in. But in parallel, we are trying to improve our lives. And if you see what people do in their tents, in their partially damaged houses, how the engineers in the municipalities in Gaza trying to maintain the networks, the water networks, and the infrastructure from nothing. They are inventing new tactics, new strategies to help people, and the people are doing the same. Now we don't have schools, because 97% of our schools get damaged. So we have educational tents now. It's hell. If you visit this tent, you will feel it is very hot. The majority of these tents without chairs, without desks, so people are sitting on the ground, and teachers without any resources. But we invent this educational tent, and send our kids there, because we appreciate education. We want our kids to be educated, even if the Israeli doesn't want that. So we keep our passion to life, inside ourselves, because that's what our families taught us, and that's what Gaza taught us also. We have been here for 1,000 years. We know the face of this land. We know the smell of this land. We understand that because losing it is not a choice. Losing Gaza, losing Palestine is not a choice.
Awesome. I could listen to you for hours. You always restore my soul with your words and with your optimism. And
For
I
my
know that
weird accent, I know.
No, it's beautiful.
it's a beautiful
Never.
accent. And I'm not the only one who said that. Of course, we hear you, awesome, but we also hear echoes of Rifat in you,
Yeah.
through you. He also continues to speak and to carry that that spirit. And listening to you, I know that your words aren't cheap. I know that you can afford to speak about hope, about a future, because you have lived through the worst things that human beings should have ever seen. I don't think anyone in history can say that may have seen things as bad as Gaza, but I think we've seen the worst of humanity, as Nora put it, uh, done to the people of Gaza. So we know your words aren't cheap, and if each day people in Gaza, if you and those around you are getting up and continuing to get through the day, to get through the week, to get through the year, to get through 1,000 days, then the rest of us can do it too. And I will say, last week I was in Switzerland. I think you know that too. And uh, aside from everything else, we had a wonderful teach-in with so many people. And I have to tell you, Asim, um, one of the things that so many people said is, they said, of course, there has to be a focus now on what's happening with Iran. There has to be a focus on what's happening in Lebanon, the horrific massacres in Lebanon. But we mustn't forget about Gaza. They were saying that. And they were saying to me, uh, what should we do? I said, my answer was, well, I remember seeing on Instagram so many incredible demonstrations in Zurich that shut down the center of Zurich for Gaza. I said, what's to stop you doing that now? What's to stop people all over Europe, all over America, holding rallies for Gaza now? You know, this is the time when we need to be uh, raising the banner of Gaza so that people aren't forgotten. And they were very receptive to that. Of course, people are already doing a lot. It's not like they're sitting and doing nothing. But people are struggling with how to keep Gaza visible and central. And I just wanted to share that with you so you know also that people around the world are still expressing their love, their support, their solidarity, and are dissatisfied with the attention Gaza is getting. And I think the point you made about guilt is useless to people in Gaza. What they need is action. And we take that message from you, Awesome. We hope that the next 1,000 days will begin to see something better than we've seen in the last 1,000 days. And we thank you so much, Awesome, for joining us today. And we hope always to see you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for having me, and for all AI audience. It's always lovely to be with you, Ali and Noura. I met you in 2013. I could remember those few moments with you, lovely moments actually. And till we meet you again here in Gaza,
Yes.
inshallah.
I always
You and
boast
Noura,
about that. I always boast about that story, Asim, because of course to me it's very precious. But I always say, I met Asim when he was a student at university. Nobody knew who he was then. Now he's world famous, but I knew him before he was famous. But I'm very proud to have met you, and
I
we have a
can't wait.
photo of that occasion. We have it And
I
it's a
promise
very
you,
precious
we
memory
will
to
meet
me.
all again here. You will bring Ali, all the EI team here again, inshallah, one day.
I can't
We'll
wait.
do a
It
live show
might be
from
Yeah,
Gaza.
we'll do a live show from
We will do
Gaza.
We will do
Yeah.
it. We will do it. Inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Asem.
you. Thank you, Asem.